This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're taking a look at the Chrome Industries Warsaw Backpack Medium, which I've been testing for the past 2 weeks. Let's dive in. So before we get started, I should say that they are replacing the roof right now, so if you hear any construction noises, that's what it is. I'm sorry if it bothers you, but it's not too bad right now, so we're going to give this a go. We have two primary pack materials to work with. We have a 1050D nylon and a 1680D ballistic nylon. So we have the higher denier, however you say that word, nylon in the more high contact areas, and then also there's lots of tarp on the interior, and let me make sure polyurethane backing to a lot of this material as well. So this external material is very durable, it's very highly water resistant, but it's not waterproof, but the tarp on the inside is waterproof, so your gear is going to stay dry for the most part, but this exterior shell can kind of get wet. So I tested it out in the rain, and this actually got pretty wet. My gear stayed dry, and then I just had to kind of wait for this to dry before I use it again. I was able to carry it, but just like a wet backpack is never fun. So very happy with the material. I think it looks pretty sleek on the outside for a bag of this style. Got the little chrome logo here and a big chrome buckle here. So I guess we might as well talk about those. Now we have Duraflex hardware here. Got quite a few buckles on the sides and stuff like that too. It all works as you'd expect it to. One of the best brands in the biz. And we don't have a ton of zippers on this pack. We have some pockets, but they use YKK zippers. Here's one on the side here with a polyurethane coating. Opens, closes easily. You kind of probably know what to expect if you watched this channel before. Both YKK and Duraflex, both very good brands. But we have compression straps on the sides, as I kind of mentioned. I got them really cinched down right now, and I can fit quite a bit more gear inside of here than what I currently have in here. But this is what I've been using with it. I kind of wanted to show you what the daily pack out was with this one. So we have two on either side, and we also have a water bottle pocket, or just kind of an accessory pocket here on this side. And the way that I'm keeping the bottle in there right now is by using this upper compression strap. And if I were to undo that, this bottle is kind of loose. I did actually have it fall out once. But it's 32 ounce Nalgene, so it survived to tell the tale. I've dropped so many of those while riding my bike, and most of the time it's my fault, not the bottle's fault. But nice to have a little accessory pocket here. One thing to note about these compression is right now it seems like these are really long, but you can adjust this to make it so they're not quite as long. I just didn't do it because I'm lazy, but it is fairly easy to do it. So then the straps are kind of evenly medium instead of both being super long. There actually isn't a ton going on the outside of this pack. There's not a ton of like attachment loops or anything like that. We obviously have a couple right here. There are a couple places like you could stow like a bike lock and stuff like that. But overall, there's not a ton going on. As I just lost this, I must not have stowed it completely properly. We'll get to that when we get inside the bag, but not a ton going on the outside, but these materials are incredibly durable. So these shoulder straps are very malleable. As you can see, I can kind of move them around very easily. But they do have a pretty good amount of padding, and as you can see too, we have this mesh to keep things cool and aerated all the way up here to the top. So pretty comfortable in my personal opinion, especially for cycling and just being very active. I like it when they're more malleable like this, because it kind of just conforms to your body a little bit more, especially if you're riding your bike in the city and you're really getting after it. So I do like that. We have D-rings here with a hook and loop fastener on the top on either side, so you can attach gear. You can attach gear on your front, like even like a big pouch or something like that. I'm not sure, I couldn't think of that word right then. But then we do have a sternum strap. It's on a rail, so you can make micro adjustments to suit it to your specific needs. We have a strap keeper here, which I wish we had on these compression straps, but we don't. But we do have a strap keeper here on this to make it so there isn't a ton of extra strap. I like that this is on a rail like this. I like for the micro adjustment, especially when you're cycling or just being more active. It's nice to be able to get it exactly where you want it. But overall, pretty happy with the shoulder straps here. Kind of flip them up here to look at the back panel. Pretty dense padding here on this back panel, but I would say that it's pretty comfortable. We have these nice air channels here too, so to kind of promote airflow, and it's a fine mesh right here, as you can kind of see there, which promotes airflow as well. So overall, pretty comfortable, and it does a pretty good job at promoting airflow. It does get a bit sweaty, but it's a very large backpack. It's a very wide backpack as well, which feels a little bit large especially on a smaller frame, but overall pretty comfortable, especially for the size. So if you are finding this video helpful, make sure you throw a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so we can continue making content like this to help you travel smarter. So this is how I typically wore this backpack. Sometimes if I'm riding my bike, I will cinch it up a little bit higher because you can see it's kind of a little bit lower than I'd like it to be right now. So I'll just cinch that up quickly. And I like that you can make that adjustment very fast, because if you're riding or something and you need to kind of kick it into high gear, you can do that and cinch it up and just kind of be on your way and get going. But that's also helpful if you're just walking down the street and you need, like maybe you've been carrying this bag a long time. At 25 liters, you know, you can fit a lot of gear in here, so you can kind of shift the weight around a little bit by tightening it up or going like this and just loosening it a little bit. And very good adjusters there to do that. And I didn't notice it coming loose or anything like that, or tightening. I don't know how it would do that when I didn't want it to, so that is a perk. Again, this is a very just big backpack, kind of just wide, and it really isn't, like when you look at the measurements, it isn't that wide, but it just feels wide when you're wearing it, and not in a bad way, it just feels different, so I really think that's worth noting when I'm telling you about how it feels to wear it. So I'm gonna keep hammering away at this review, just like they are hammering on the roof right now. So when it comes to secondary compartments, we do have a few to work with. There's one here on the side, and I like this one because it is kind of accessible while you are, even when you're riding your bike or if you're walking or something like that, because it's on the side. And I don't have anything stowed inside there right now because it's typically where if I'm riding, I want to put my phone and my wallet and stuff inside here. So we do have this tarp liner. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but that is one of the tarp liners. Had another piece of gear fall out because I am kind of manhandling this bag. We'll get to that in a little bit. But this is a pretty big pocket here. So this all the way down to here and down to here and all the way up to here. So you can fit quite a bit of gear inside of here. But as I said, I like to put my phone, wallet, and other things like that while I'm riding because it doesn't have that tarp, so it's gonna stay dry no matter what. We've had a lot of like thunderstorms and stuff like that lately, so I don't want my phone and wallet to get wet, so they typically go in here and I can access them pretty quickly if I'm on my bike or even just walking around. Further back on this side, we have a little hook and loop fastener here. That's kind of like a little hidden pocket under the back panel. It's not a huge pocket, it goes to about right there and about that wide. So it's a good place for like a passport or something like that. It is worth noting that this isn't the tarp material, this is just the standard nylon. So if it's torrential downpour and you're stuck in the rain for a few hours, I wouldn't leave like your passport in there because there's a chance it's gonna get wet. I would put it in one of the tarp pockets either in the front here or inside the main compartment, which again, we're going to get into. This is one maybe will really upset things inside the bag, but there is another pocket here on the bottom. It's got a nice fabric welt over it, which I really like because if you're cycling and it's raining, or even you just go through a puddle or something like that and you don't have fenders, it's gonna shoot stuff up on the like on your back and stuff like that. And this material can really take it. It's very easy to clean, but again, there's a zipper right here, and if it was just a zipper, the zipper would get gross and maybe even some water would get in there. But it is a PU coated zipper, so not super worried about that, but I really just like that fabric roll. I think it looks nice too. And it kind of makes this a kind of a little mini hidden pocket too. So typically I actually stowed my packable rain jacket in here, but I forgot today because it's super sunny and I just didn't even think to bring it. But again, we have that tarp material, so you do have a little bit of extra just protection from the elements. My U-lock actually fits inside of here as well. So I put that there just so it's kind of not in the way of any of my other gear. But you really can put a ton of different stuff here. But if you were to put something that isn't flat, like just like a small round object, like a baseball or something like that, it does stand up like this right now, as you can see. But if you were to put that in there, it could potentially not, because that is the bottom of the pack. So overall, I really like the 3 secondary compartments. I wish maybe there was like one more just for like a little bit of quick access gear while you're riding or just while you're on the go. But overall, as I said, I'm very happy with those, and they all kind of serve a purpose, which I like, and they don't get in your way if you don't want to use them, which is a huge perk for me as well. So as you all saw, a few things fell out of the back when I was out of the bag while I was kind of like twirling it around and doing stuff with it. So I should note before we dive in that that never happened to me while I was using this bag. Just when I'm kind of moving it around and going upside down, it happened. And I guess that is something that's important to know, and I'm also not very good at stowing gear, and that was kind of a learning curve for me with this bag, because as you're about to see, it is kind of a unique design. So this is just the flap here, and then you have the large opening here. So this is the only closure. There's no other closure for this bag, and you really need to kind of keep this cinched tight if you want gear to stay in place. And even then, like, because I don't have so much gear in here, I couldn't cinch it really any tighter, and then that became an issue with those falling out. So in reality, when you don't have as much stuff inside the bag, this should go inside of here, and that's not where it was. It was in this pocket here, which we're gonna get into. So right here we have a clear ID window. Gonna bring it a little closer so you can't see it. Nice for, you know, you put a transit card in there, ID, or if you need something for work, or if you're like working as a messenger or something like that, you can stuff a bunch of stuff inside of there. It is a little bit big, so one little ID might kind of swim around in there, but I didn't have anything fall out while I was testing it, so that's a perk. This pocket is where I had the battery bank was inside, so there's some like elastic inside of here. Kind of hard to show you because it's black on black. There's some elastic inside there, some larger ones and some smaller ones. I had this stowed inside that one right there, and it just wasn't enough to hold it, and it won't really fit in the smaller one, so I like having quick access to that, and I could also charge while it's in there if it's, you know, more stuff in there and it's a little bit more secured. But it just kind of tumbled out while I was, you know, flipping the bag around. And then these were just kind of loose inside of here on top of that. And again, I did put those in there multiple times while I was testing this bag. And when the bag was more packed out, I didn't have as much of an issue. But as you saw, they came tumbling out when it's not as fully packed. And also, again, I'm kind of doing things with this bag I wouldn't normally do. Above that, we have a zippered pocket right here. And again, we're gonna have that tarp material. So I have my phone and wallet stuffed inside there right now because if I'm not gonna be using them super frequently and I wanna make sure that they stay dry, this tarp material is going to keep them dry. And it's a pretty good sized pocket. It comes down to about right here at the bottom of this organization, and then it goes to both of the sides as well. Then obviously we have this zippered topper. So no PU coating on that zipper, but it is covered by this flap, which has the tarp. So, and it does have a zipper garage as well. So if any water creeps in, it's not going to get through a hole in the end of the zipper. We have one large pocket right here. Just no topper or anything like that. It just kind of is existing. I like that because you can throw a book in there. It's even big enough to throw like a magazine or something like that if you wanted to. Just a very large pocket that goes all the way down again to the bottom of that organization there. So if you're like hardcover book, you can even throw a tablet in there if it's a nice sunny day or something like that. Just kind of a nice pocket that again doesn't get in your way if you don't want to use it. It's there if you want to. But moving into the main compartment here, I have just some stuff that I typically bring to work with me. Got my tech pouch right here, air split kit. Have a unnamed brand camera cube that I've had for absolutely ages. You never know when you might need your camera on the way to or home from work. And then a toiletry pouch. I just like to have this with me in case I need to, you know, brush my teeth or something like that. You never know. But here, as you can see, there is no organization set up here. It's just a big, you know, tarp material. So you're gonna need to use packing cubes. You're gonna need to use, you know, camera cube, toiletry pouch, tech pouch, bunch of different ways to organize, because finding gear in here when it's just all kind of thrown in there is not super easy. But I do like this design because you can throw large items in here. Like I have a larger camera cube at home that's probably twice, maybe 3 times the size of this, and it fits inside of here. So I can ride my bike with that camera cube and just pull it out, use it when I'm taking photos. And then if I want to use a bunch of smaller stuff like I have right now, it all fits in there too. So the organization doesn't really hamper it, but it can be kind of challenging to pack it correctly when, even when you just don't have a ton of stuff in there, it just feels like there's a lot of space and not everything has a home. So you kind of have to make a home for it. And one last thing to know about this main compartment is there is a hook and loop fastener there. So this kind of pulls out if you want it to, and then you just kind of, it doesn't come all the way out, but you can kind of like see the inner workings of the backpack. And this also helps it like this dry if you kind of like want to pull this out like this to help the whole bag dry. But overall, very happy with this pack, but it has a bit of a learning curve, and it's not a pack for everyone. It takes kind of a special person to like this pack, but if you're that kind of person, it might be your next favorite backpack. So there you have it, the Chrome Industries Warsaw Backpack Medium. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.